There is a moment you know well. Someone asks you how you're doing, and you say, fine, because the real answer would take an hour, because the real answer would require them to actually want to know. And most of the time, you already sense they don't. So you compress everything you are into a single acceptable word, and you move on. And something inside you, quietly, almost imperceptibly, dims a little. This happens to you more than people realize. At parties, at work, at family dinners. You sit inside conversations that feel like they're happening on the surface of something, and you keep waiting, almost involuntarily, for someone to go deeper, for someone to say something real, for the conversation to finally drop below the waterline and touch something that actually matters. And when it doesn't happen, you don't just feel bored. You feel a specific kind of lonely that is very difficult to explain to someone who has never felt it. A loneliness that exists not from lack of people, but from lack of genuine contact, from being surrounded by conversation, and yet feeling completely unreached. If this is familiar to you, if small talk has always felt like a performance you never quite learned the lines to, psychology does not say something is wrong with you. It says something very specific, very rare, and very important is happening inside your mind. Let's begin with what small talk actually is, and why some people find it almost physically uncomfortable. Small talk is a social technology. It exists to signal safety. When two people discuss the weather, they are not exchanging information about atmospheric conditions. They are saying, I am not a threat. You are not a threat. We can occupy the same space. It is a handshake in linguistic form. And for most people, this is enough. The signal is sent, the safety is established, and the interaction feels complete. But for some people, and you're almost certainly one of them, the signal is sent and the mind immediately asks, now what? Because safety was never the point. Connection was. And safety without depth is just proximity. Two people standing near each other, but never actually meeting. This is not impatience. This is not arrogance. This is a mind that is operating on a different register entirely. A mind that does not experience conversation as a social ritual, but as a potential portal to understanding, to meaning, to the rare and extraordinary feeling of being genuinely known by another human being. And that kind of mind is far rarer than most people think. There is a psychological concept called need for cognition. It refers to an individual's intrinsic motivation to engage in and enjoy effortful thinking. People who score high in need for cognition don't just think deeply when they have to. They are drawn to depth the way other people are drawn to comfort. They seek complexity. They find simple answers unsatisfying not because they are difficult, but because their mind naturally senses that the simple answer is only the beginning. Research consistently shows that people with high need for cognition are also significantly more likely to seek depth in their interpersonal relationships. They are not just intellectually hungry, they are emotionally and conversationally hungry. They want to know what you actually believe, not what you are supposed to believe. They want to know what keeps you awake at night, not what you did last weekend. They want the conversation that goes somewhere no conversation's gone before, and they will wait, sometimes for years, for someone willing to go there with them. This is a psychological profile of someone who is allergic to small talk, not socially inept, not antisocial, not broken, deeply, specifically, cognitively oriented toward meaning. And that orientation, that hunger, is one of the rarest and most valuable configurations the human mind can take. But let's go deeper, because inside the psychological profile live several specific traits, and each one of them deserves to be named. The first is an unusually high capacity for authentic presence. People who crave deep conversation are not just looking for interesting topics. They are looking for genuine contact. And to make genuine contact, you have to actually show up fully, vulnerably, without the protective armor of performance. You have to be willing to say something true, something uncertain, something that reveals rather than conceals. Most people are not capable of this, not because they're shallow, but because genuine presence requires a level of emotional courage that the social world actively discourages. We are trained from childhood to manage impressions, to say the right thing, to present the acceptable version. And most people become so good at this that they eventually lose access to anything beneath it. But you never fully learn that armor. Or you learned it and it never fit quite right. And so you have preserved, often at great social cost, the ability to actually be present, to say what you mean, to sit inside a real conversation without flinching. That is not a social weakness. That is a profound human capability that most people have accidentally trained themselves out of. The second trait is an extraordinary sensitivity to inauthenticity. People who prefer deep conversation don't just enjoy depth. They are actively repelled by its absence. When a conversation is performative, when someone is saying what they think they should say rather than what they actually mean, you feel it, not as a judgment, as a sensation, a kind of flatness, a slight drop in energy, an involuntary recognition that whatever is being exchanged here, it is not real. This sensitivity is a form of social intelligence that is often misread as aloofness or disinterest. You are not disinterested. You are simply unable to engage fully with something that isn't actually there. You cannot manufacture enthusiasm for a surface you can see through. And so you go quiet. You retreat slightly. And from the outside, this can look like coldness, when in reality it is the opposite. It is a mind waiting, almost desperately, for something worth being warm about. The third trait is a natural capacity for holding complexity in relationships. Shallow relationships require simple versions of people. In small talk, you present your highlight reel, your job, your weekend plans, your surface opinions. You are edited down to your most socially acceptable form. And this works fine if a simplified version of yourself is all you have to offer. But some people are not simple. Their inner world is textured, contradictory, layered. They hold multiple truths simultaneously. They feel more than one thing at once. They have changed their minds so many times that they have stopped pretending certainty they don't feel. And a relationship built on small talk cannot hold all of that. The container is too small. It breaks. People who crave deep conversation are people whose full selves require a larger container. They need relationships where contradiction is welcome, where uncertainty is respected, where you can say, "I don't know," and have that be the beginning of a conversation rather than the end of one. This is not neediness. This is an accurate recognition of what genuine connection actually requires. The fourth trait is a remarkable ability to make other people feel truly seen. Here is something that might surprise you. Despite the fact that deep conversationalists often feel unseen themselves, despite all the loneliness and the unreached feeling, they're almost universally described by the people who do get close to them as the best listeners, the most understanding presences, the people who make you feel most fully known. Because the same sensitivity that makes you hungry for depth in your own conversations makes you extraordinarily attentive to depth in others. You notice what people almost say. You hear the emotion underneath the words. You ask the question that nobody else thought to ask, the one that opened something the other person didn't even know was closed. And when you do this, people feel something they rarely feel in ordinary conversation. They feel met. They feel real. They feel like they exist in a way the world rarely confirms. That gift, the ability to make another human being feel genuinely real, is not small. It is, in fact, one of the most profound things one person can offer another. The fifth trait is a relationship with solitude that most people never develop. People who need deep conversation have usually learned, out of necessity, to have the deepest conversations with themselves. When the external world doesn't offer the depth you need, you turn inward. You develop a rich interior life, a running dialogue with your own thoughts, your own contradictions, your own evolving understanding of what you believe and why. This is why people in the psychological profile tend to be unusually self-aware, not because they navel gaze, but because the inner world became the place where the real conversations happened, where the questions nobody else would engage with got examined anyway, where the thinking went as deep as it needed to go without apology. And this interior richness, this depth of self-knowledge, is precisely what makes deep conversation possible when it finally arrives. You are not waiting to discover who you are in conversation with someone else. You already know. You are waiting to share it and to receive the same in return. Now comes the reframe, and it matters. The loneliness of preferring depth is real. There will be rooms you never quite belong in, conversations you excuse yourself from early, relationships that feel like they promise something they never deliver. A persistent, low-level ache for the kind of connection that seems to exist just beyond reach. But here's what that ache is. It is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of standard. You have not been unable to connect. You have refused to settle for the version of connection that doesn't actually reach you. And that refusal, quiet, persistent, often painful, is an act of profound self-respect. You are not looking for many people. You are looking for the right ones. And the right ones, when they arrive, do not feel like small talk dressed up as depth. They feel like finally, like breathing after holding your breath for a very long time, like a conversation that doesn't need to end because it is going somewhere real. Those connections exist. They are rare because you are rare, but they are real, and the depth you have cultivated inside yourself through all the lonely rooms and the surface conversations and the quiet retreating, that depth is exactly what will recognize them when they come. The world is very good at teaching people to be understood by many. It has almost no interest in teaching people to be deeply known by a few. And so the people who need that, who cannot function on the surface, who require real contact the way the body requires real food, are often left feeling like they are asking for too much. You're not asking for too much. You are asking for what is real. And in a world that has made a religion of performance, a mind that still hungers for something genuine is not a problem to be fixed. It is a compass, pointing, always, toward the only kind of connection that was ever actually worth having. If something in this video felt less like information and more like recognition, that's not a coincidence. Stay close. There is more here for the kind of person who has always needed the conversation to go a little deeper,